All right, everyone, welcome to the City of Saratoga Springs Library Board meeting. It is 6:34 and in attendance is, should everyone say their name? Can't see who's on right now. Okay.
So I can read them.
Okay.
Pamela King, Brandy Miners, and Christy Jepson with guests Melissa Grigla and David Johnson.
Excellent. Welcome, everyone. Next on our agenda is public comment.
I have not received any via email as it was noticed on the agenda.
Okay, perfect. We'll move along to number 4, approval of minutes, May 12th. Those were emailed out. Can we get an approval? That was our first document that was emailed out. Can we get a motion to approve the meeting minutes from May 12th?
All motion.
Thank you. Can I second?
Yes.
Okay, I'll second. All right, then roll call, voting. All right.
Aye.
Okay. We only have a couple of people, so our eyes are going to be short. And then we have our meeting to approve July 14th, but I believe that one was canceled. So there is no meeting minutes on that, except that it was canceled.
Exactly.
So do we still need to approve that?
Yes.
Okay. Do we have a motion to approve the minutes from July 14th, 2020?
All motion.
Thanks, Brandy. I'll second. All right, and then roll call order to approve those minutes.
Aye. Aye.
Aye. Okay, perfect. Now let me go back to the agenda here. All right, number 5, library board chair, vice chair, secretary. Melissa brings that to our attention that we need to fill those slots, right?
Annually, yes. So we need to have someone appointed and nominated for each of those roles. And past precedent from some board members have been those not present get first nominations, but that is up to you guys.
Okay, well, we only have 3 people on.
I can be the vice chair again.
Okay. I don't mind being the chair now that I know somewhat of what to do. So, or the secretary. So
You don't
either
want
one.
to nominate Joy to do it?
We could do that because she's not here.
So here would be my suggestions then, if you're okay with it. I would recommend that you make a motion to appoint Christy Jepson as the chair, Brandy Miners as the vice chair, and Joy Bratton as the secretary.
Okay.
First and second that, all with that wordage, and pass it all at once.
Okay. Pamela, do you have any thoughts about that? Do you want to say anything?
No, that sounds good to me.
Okay. All right. Okay, we need a motion to approve the Saratoga Springs Library Board Chair as Christy Jepson, Vice Chair, Brandy Miners, right? Is that how you say your last name? Okay, and Secretary Joy, what did you say your last name was?
Bratton.
Brackett. Okay, we need a motion. Sorry, what?
All motion.
Thanks, Brandy. We need a second. I'll second.
What?
And then we'll need to overall approval vote on it. Aye.
Aye.
Okay, there you have it.
Okay.
Okay, number 6, food for fines 2020 new dates discussion. Melissa.
My suggestion at this point is just to take it off of our radar until next budget year. With COVID, as long as we're in red to yellow phases, the city council has approved us waiving all overdue fines. That doesn't include the cost of items that aren't returned. So when items still go 60 days overdue, the the patron gets a bill for that cost of the item that hasn't been brought back. But no overdue fines are accruing at all, which means food for fines doesn't really need to run either.
Right.
Is that okay?
Makes sense. Yeah, that makes sense.
So we're fine for you right now?
That's how it feels, yes. I have to remind staff occasionally to log into their express bill pay accounts so that they won't disable, because if they're not used and every 30 days and the passwords aren't updated, they get locked out. So our revenues so far this year have been very, very small.
Yeah. Does that hurt us, or do we not really count that in because it is so small generally?
So it's one of those things we are tracking as a COVID related impact, because we would normally find that as revenues. And in the financial update, I can give you sorry, I need Jana's report that she sent me. I can give you the exact impacts of so we have earned $148 in the last month. Most of that was probably non-resident card fees, because we did have a couple of the non-residents purchase accounts.
All right, well, that's not very much.
Mm-mm.
All right, let's go on to number 7, director's report by Melissa.
Okay, so first I'm going to share the financial statement. So the city treasurer provides this to us every month to update you guys on. So far, we've made no donations, but we also don't have public printing available, and that's always gone in as a donation revenue. The miscellaneous sales is earned $3. That's for a lost library card, and then the fine and or costs of cards was that $148.03. We're seeing a lot of our payments come through PayPal now that it's been enabled on OPAC that they can pay that way. Sends me a nice little email that says, hey, this person made a payment. I transfer the money and I send it on to the treasurer's office, and they take care of it from there. We've expended 6% of our salaries and wages, 5% of the benefits. Computers and maintenance came out at the very beginning of the year for our new contract year. So that has already gone through, and we've added some additional things that will come on this year regarding computers and maintenance on scheduling our public computers and wireless printing for customers, etc. We're working through all of those right now, so they'll be able to access those services even during COVID. The office supplies and miscellaneous, we haven't spent much according to this, but we have been spending quite a bit on pulling together the make and take craft and the steam kits. However, all of those are COVID reimbursable through Utah County. So we're just tracking the expenditures and anticipate that we'll get some money back in return for those.
Nice.
I spoke to Shalise today. There was just a slight budget amendment that does need to be made. You can see the book purchases line item has $39,000 in it, and the digital purchases has nothing. That was an error. They were supposed to have $29,959 in our book purchases and $10,000 in our digital collections. To maintain the Beehive Library Consortium membership year, the state had all participating libraries put a portion of their funding towards the digital collections so that the state doesn't continue to supplement all of those resources. And then our program shows zero expended at this point, but there are, again, some bills that haven't been invoiced yet that are COVID related for those programming, the music and movement packets and things like that that we have available. Any questions on the financial?
When do you expect to get that COVID charge back? Or Expense
So I
money
don't
back.
know exactly. I track money and send the updates on a bi-weekly basis. So I know that they've been pulling the data together. For last year, we've already closed out the expenses that were COVID related and sent them. And it's just a matter of the city submitting it to the county for reimbursement, is my understanding. But I'm not involved in that part. I just track it and say, these are all the expenses and what accounts they came from.
Okay.
And then, sorry, I need my agendas to remind myself of where
That's
I'm.
okay. Statistics and A is financial statement, B is statistics and data for state report.
Well, I'm going to share my screen again because we have our updated presentation. You guys get this, and unfortunately we don't get it in person. But this is our data from last year to this year. And we didn't see as many impacts as we expected due to COVID. So April to June, we closed our lobby and just provided drive-up service. We added the grab and go service June 11th. However, our patron counts were only about 30,000 patron counts below normal, and our circulation was only 10,000 items checked out less than normal. So we didn't see a very big decline from COVID. Our registered cardholders continued to rise since we found a way to register those cardholders electronically. Library visitors, as you can see, is down from previous years, but that is again due to COVID. We were closed at the main library, and they were just opening in the middle of June for patrons to come. Drive-up service usage by week, you can see it's been ebbing and flowing, but on average we get between 125 and 200 cars a week. And I really think count those cars as the equivalent to 4 people walking into the library, because most of them are families who are picking up a whole that they're no longer having to walk in the doors to pick up. Grab and go service, this is just the first week and a half of being open to the public. We saw about 600 people in a week, which is significantly different than the 600 people in a day we've always seen in the past. So, it's been different, but all again pandemic related, and staff have handled it really well. We are asking that all patrons wear masks. If they say they have a health reason that they cannot, we will accept that. However, if they say they just choose not to wear masks, we politely ask them to please use the drive-up service as their alternative method of delivering service for them. Our checked out items, you can see that while that did fall in April, May, and June this year, it did not fall as drastically as I had anticipated. I anticipated numbers that were a quarter of what we were seeing, and we're at about half to 2/3 in some of what we used to see. Our checkouts by week, you can see, have continued to climb as we've gone from March all the way into June. We've seen this normal summer increase, but not an excessive summer increase because of people not walking into the library. Reference questions, we have not tracked well this year. We are all aware of that in the library, and the state and I have worked together on what we should do for methodology to track this in the future. However, it's going to come down to this year, our numbers are going to be really off. We're going to take information from 1 week next year and multiply it by 52 and just count that as the number of reference questions that we've been providing answers to. Computer usage, I'm sure you can see it went down. Our proctor appointments is about half of what it was last year, because the last quarter of the school year, of course, we were not open for proctor appointments or public computer usage. Our Wi-Fi usage has actually not declined as much as we expected, and that Wi-Fi is enabled into the parking lot. So we have customers that come outside of our open hours that can still use the wireless in that parking lot. And then we are working with the state and our IT department to have Wi-Fi enabled printing, where they can send print jobs into us and then come in, and staff would report the print jobs when they come in. And they can do that through a portal, they can do that through Wi-Fi, or they can do that here in whatever works best for them. Our updated departmental performance measures, we usually just compare one year to another. You can see those differences. Do you have any questions on that?
I don't.
No.
State benchmarks are not going to be required in 2020 as a result of COVID. So good news. They're completely reevaluating how they are going to measure the usage of libraries next year. This is what they would normally have used, but it's out the door as they try and figure out what do we do with this unknown pandemic. And then just a recap of what other libraries around us have been doing. American Fork has grab and go service. They'll take returns during specific times. Pleasant Grove has added patron pickup and grab and go during limited hours. Highland's actually open. They're hosting programs in the park. They're also still providing drive-up service for those people who are high risk. With them providing programs in the park, they have to track who is at the program, where they are sitting, and all of those various details. Which I've been uncomfortable with, so I have not made that recommendation. I've talked to Taffy a few times about, okay, do we go to providing programs in some way, shape, or form in person versus electronically? And tracking all of that personal information just makes her and I both very uncomfortable.
Yeah, I would agree.
So we haven't made that recommendation because it's just a lot of details to be tracking for people.
Just watch how the schools do it, and then you'll see.
Yeah, I don't know what we're going to see with the schools, but we'll see how the next month goes.
Right.
Eagle Mountain has reduced their business hours, but they're now open for grab and go service and driver. Lehigh is still not open to the public in any way, shape, or form, but you can pick up your holds in their lobby during limited hours. And then Salt Lake City and Salt Lake County are now providing curbside by appointment. And their programming is all online. I'm sure this is not going to be a surprise to the library board, but as libraries continued evolving during the pandemic, we've gotten more demand and requests from customers for additional materials and services. Of course, primarily those are digital services. And based on just requests that we receive in a month and items that need purchased to fill the holds lists on Overdrive, we would need between $7,000 and $12,000 a month to keep up with our current city's demand.
Wow.
We're allocated now $10,000 this year. So you can see there's quite the difference in that. And we're really lucky that the Behead Consortium helps cover a lot of those costs for us right now.
Yeah.
We've gotten free access to databases provided by vendors through August and December. Of course, a lot of Eagle Mountain residents coming in and not realizing that we're not a part of the Eagle Mountain Library. So there have been a lot of staff inquiries regarding that. We've had customers ask about homebound delivery, which makes sense for those people who are unable to leave their home, and is something we're investigating. And then we've also had people ask about adding additional recreation equipment and hotspots.
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah, just as needs have changed in the last 3 months, some of the things that customers have brought up.
Yeah. Yeah, but I mean, I think some of those things are just thinking out of the box that are really good. You know what I mean? I mean, even with those, despite COVID, those people, those, elderly people that are homebound, You know what I mean? That's brilliant to be able to help them get books in their hands or whatever. You know what I mean? That they can't go out. So
Yeah.
I think good things are coming out of this, different thinking, you know, that I think will help all around.
And that's until people have voiced some of these ideas and why don't you, there are legitimate needs, but analyzing which needs get priority and the funding has
Right.
been an ongoing challenge.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
And then that report basically covered all of the COVID impacts for you guys. Except for summer readings, participation is about half of normal. Taffy's still running that through the 15th, so I'll have a full update for you on that next month.
Okay. Thank you. Any
Uh,
questions? Is that?
Sorry, I have one more announcement. I
Oh,
was
perfect.
on the agenda. September 10th, we're going to have to close for maintenance. So it's not something you guys will need to vote on or anything because we've been directed to close. We'll start posting the closure signs and putting the information on the website, overwriting due dates, etc.
Okay. Is that just the building itself?
Yeah,
Maintenance?
it's general maintenance and inventory stuff that needs to get done.
Gotcha.
Just one day.
Yes, that's my understanding.
All right. Is that everything on that?
Yep.
Okay, perfect. The only announcements besides that one closing is the next meeting is Tuesday, September 8th. Maybe Zoom. Who knows?
I'm playing it by ear.
Who knows? But anyway, that's the next meeting at 6:30. Anybody have any thoughts or questions before we adjourn? All right, then we call the meeting finished at 6:56 p.m.
We need a
And can I? I'm sorry, what?
We need a first and a second.
Oh, yes. Can we have an approval to adjourn the meeting?
All motion.
Thank you, Randy. I'll second.
Second.
Oh, thanks. Pam.
Wrote that down.
All right, and then approval, aye.
Aye.
Bye.
Perfect. Okay, that's it, everyone. Thanks.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Melissa. Thanks for keeping track of everything and all that info.
Not a problem.
So, all right, we'll see you guys next month. So, all right, bye-bye.